There's a scene in the movie Blow that has stayed with me for years. George Jung's father has just walked out of the bank. He's declared bankruptcy. Everything he worked for is gone. And he turns to his son and says,
"Money isn't real, George. Doesn't matter. It only seems like it does."
George hears him, but he doesn't understand him. Because he spends the rest of his life chasing as much money as he can get, at any cost. He becomes one of the biggest cocaine smugglers in America. He makes more money than most people could ever imagine. And then he loses almost everything. His freedom, his family, his daughter, 20 years of his life in prison. And only then does he finally understand what his father was trying to tell him. Money isn't real, but it decides almost everything in our lives. It decides where people live, what they can eat, who gets treated, who gets ignored, who has time, who has choices, who gets to say no. That's what makes money so difficult to wrap our heads around. It's imaginary, but the consequences are not. And maybe that's why it's always confused me. Because most of the time when we try to understand money, we only ask the practical questions. How do I make more of it? How do I save it? How do I invest? How do I use it better? These are all useful questions, but they don't answer the deeper one. What is this thing? What is this idea that has entranced humanity so completely that almost every life on earth has been arranged around it? Money is usually described as a medium of exchange, a store of value, or a unit of account. And that's true, but the description often feels too simple because money is not just a tool for buying things. Money is a tool for directing human attention. It tells people where to go, what to build, what to protect, and what to destroy. Wherever human beings collectively put their attention, money eventually shows up. And once money shows up, it pulls even more attention there. We fund hospitals because we fear death, sports because we crave tribal glory, beauty because we fear becoming invisible, and we fund weapons because we fear each other. The money doesn't judge any of this. It doesn't tell us what's noble. It doesn't tell us what's embarrassing. It doesn't tell us what's sacred or stupid or corrupt. It just keeps moving toward whatever human beings keep feeding. And that's what makes it honest. Not morally good or spiritually wise, just honest. Because money records what we actually value, not what we claim to value. What we choose when the choice costs something. Most of us don't think of ourselves as people who are shaping the world with our spending. We think of ourselves as people just trying to get through the week. We buy what we need. We pay the bill. We subscribe to the service. We replace the thing that broke. And somewhere far away, a factory runs. A forest gets cleared. A delivery driver races through traffic. None of this feels important from our side of the transaction. But that's the marvel of money. It moves consequences further than our conscience can travel. It gives us distance. It takes an act that might feel morally complicated up close and turns it into a clean little moment. The tap of a card, the click of a button. And you just watch the number change, and life keeps moving. This is why money can feel so honest and dishonest at the same time. It's honest because it shows what we keep choosing, but dishonest because it hides what that choice requires. And maybe that's why we prefer to talk about money as a personal issue. How much do I have? How much do I need? How much do they make? How much am I worth? Those questions matter, but they keep the frame small. They make money seem like something that belongs to the individual, as if money is mostly about discipline, ambition, success, or failure. But money is much bigger than that. Money is one of the ways civilization tells itself where to go. It turns private desire into public structure. A few people want convenience and a company appears. Millions of people want convenience and cities begin to reorganize around delivery routes, warehouses, packaging, roads, and data centers. And then it becomes normal. And once it becomes normal, we stop seeing it as a choice. That might be the most important part. Money doesn't just reveal what we value. It trains us to value what already has money behind it. The more money flows towards something, the more inevitable it just starts to feel. And eventually, the world we funded starts to feel like the only one that could ever have existed. But it was never inevitable. It was chosen. Not all at once, but through billions of tiny choices. Money isn't real in the way a tree is real, but it's very good at turning belief into consequences. That's what George Jung's father understood. Money doesn't matter because it has a secret power. It matters because we gave it the power to arrange our lives. And once we gave it that power, it began arranging more than our lives. It arranged our attention, our ambitions, our fears, our compromises, even our imagination. So when I hear the line, money isn't real, I don't hear it as a dismissal anymore. I hear it as a warning. The most powerful things in the world are often the things we invented and then forgot we invented. Borders, markets, careers, and money. Money isn't real, but it shows us what we've made real. And maybe the question is not just how to get more of it. Maybe the question is, what are we allowing it to turn us into?